Hey and welcome to another meal prep video. Summer is right around the corner, or maybe not depending on when you watch this, but either way, I'm sure you clicked this video to learn what to eat to lose body fat, get ripped, shredded, jacked, toned, or whatever. Basically what to do so that you don't break down in tears when looking at yourself in the mirror.
You son of a bitch!
Jokes aside, while this video is meant to help you get a more aesthetic looking body, our main focus should be being healthy. It doesn't help looking like Zac Efron from Baywatch if your digestion stinks.
Oh man, now everyone's gonna remember me for this!
So no matter where you find yourself in your fitness and health journey, remember that it's not about being perfect, it's about making choices that will improve your health over time. So this meal prep is calculated at 2,000 calories. You may need more or you may need less depending on your goals and your body stats. So adapt this plan to your personal needs. The macronutrient split for this menu is 40% of your calories coming from carbs, 30% from protein, and 30% from fats. Meal prepping is awesome because it will help you save a lot of time in the kitchen and help you take your mind off of those cookie cravings, as your food choices will already be made for you. These meals are also designed to keep you full and satiated for a long time so that you do not ever need to feel hungry during your fat loss journey. That is the key to a successful diet in my opinion. I will be preparing 3 meals for 3 days, including breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I personally don't recommend prepping for much longer as the food can go bad, which can very well lead to apocalyptic diarrhea.
No, Megan. No! No! Look away! Megan, no! Look away! Oh!
So before we get started, if you enjoyed this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button and most importantly, hit the notification bell right next to it to get updated when my next videos come out. Okay, let's get started. So the first meal is going to be a protein yogurt bowl. Remember that everything is calculated for 3 days, and then we're gonna divide the amounts by 3 for 3 different days. So what you're gonna need for the first meal is 450 milliliters or 2 cups of soy milk. You can use any plant milks of your choice, including almond, rice, hemp, cashew, etc. I personally choose soy milk because it is the highest in protein. Next up, we have 150 grams or 5.3 ounces of chia seeds, which are a great source of omega-3 fatty acids. Then we have 75 grams or 2.65 ounces of granola. I use a low-fat granola, so very little oil in it because we already have a lot of fats from the chia seeds, so try to opt for a lower fat, lower sugar granola if you have one available. If not, you can just use oats instead. Then we have 450 grams or 1 pound of frozen berries. You can use fresh berries if you want to, but frozen are cheaper. Then we have 750 grams or 1.65 pounds of soy yogurt. Again, you can use any kind of yogurt of your choice, such as cashew yogurt, coconut yogurt, etc. But again, soy yogurt tends to be higher in protein, so that's what I opt for. And finally, we have 3 tablespoons of protein powder. I use the Vivo Life protein powder, as a lot of you guys already know, and the reason for this is because they always prioritize health. They third-party test for pesticides, herbicides, and heavy metals, which a lot of other proteins are contaminated with. So first step is to take out 3 mason jars or bowls or any kind of Tupperware or container that you have available, and then we pour equal amounts of chia seeds into each container. Next step is to pour in the protein powder. If you don't like the taste of your protein powder mixed in with the chia seed pudding, then you can just have a protein shake on the side. So we mix up the protein with the chia seeds, and then we add in our milk into each container and then mix together and put it in the fridge. This will create a chia pudding. I usually leave it in the fridge for about 5 to 10 minutes, and that should turn it into a solid pudding. Once the pudding is solid, we're gonna put in the frozen berries. The berries will provide a lot of antioxidants and vitamins to this meal, and berries are also very low in calories compared to other fruits. Next step is to pour in our yogurt. So this is going to be a unsweetened natural yogurt. You can mix in some stevia into your yogurt to make it a little bit sweeter. And the final step is to sprinkle the granola on top of the container and seal it up, put in the fridge, and you're good to go. So this meal comes to a total of 612 calories with 34 grams of carbohydrates, 27 grams of fat, and 38 grams of protein. This meal is absolutely delicious, one of my favorite breakfasts for sure. Usually I'll have this post-workout. Moving on to lunch. So we're going to be preparing a Thai wok for this one. The ingredients you'll be needing are 900 grams or 2 pounds of mixed veggies. The veggies that you include don't really matter as much as long as you're not including high calorie vegetables such as potatoes. I just bought a frozen pack that said wok mix, and that's pretty much it. Then we have 450 grams or 1 pound of firm tofu, which is an amazing source of protein. And don't worry, tofu is not going to give you soy boobs or raise your estrogen levels. That is a myth that has been debunked a very long time ago. Then we're going to add a little bit of lemon. We're just going to squeeze a little bit. There is no real amount to this. Just use as much as you want. And then for the woks sauce, we're going to be using 6 tablespoons of peanut butter and 8 tablespoons of soy sauce. And this is going to add a good amount of fats to your meals, which will also help you stay a lot more full. Okay, so first step is to chop your tofu up into cubes or strips, whatever you guys prefer. Then we're going to take out a frying pan and add a little bit of water instead of using oil, just because we already have a lot of fats coming from the peanut butter. So throw the tofu in there and then throw your mixed veggies in with the tofu. And while they're sauteing, we can move on to the sauce. So we're going to be taking out 6 tablespoons of peanut butter into a little bowl, and then we're going to be adding 8 tablespoons of soy sauce. I'm going to be mixing that up together. You can add some water like I did here. You can add as much water as you want. So when the veggies are almost done sauteing, you can add the sauce, mix it up, and heat it up for a couple more minutes. Then we're going to squeeze in a little bit of lemon juice on top of the wok, which will help absorb the iron from the tofu and also add a little bit of vitamin C to this meal. Then take out 3 containers and divide the ingredients equally into each one. Seal it up and then put it in the fridge and you're ready to go. I ate this meal right after preparing it and it was bomb. So good. Even if you don't enjoy tofu or you're not used to eating it, with this peanut sauce, it's gonna taste good either way. So the total calories for this Thai wok comes to 520 calories with 30 grams of carbohydrates, 27 grams of fats, and 37 grams of protein. So moving on to the final meal, the dinner, which is gonna be chili con carne, just without the carne. The ingredients you'll be needing for this one are 3 medium carrots, which is gonna provide a lot of vitamin A, 300 grams or 10.5 ounces of onion. For me, that was 2 large onions, 255 grams or 9 ounces of red bell pepper. This is 1 large red bell pepper for me. 6 medium potatoes. We're using white potatoes this time. If you prefer, you can use sweet potatoes instead. Then we have 850 milliliters or 3.6 cups of chopped tomatoes. Use chopped tomatoes without any oil or sodium added into it. Then we have some mixed beans. I'm using cooked kidney beans and cooked black beans, 360 grams or 12.7 ounces. You can use your favorite beans for this one. It doesn't have to be kidney and black beans. Then we have cooked sweet corn, 240 grams or 8.5 ounces for this one. And then we're going to be having 500 grams or 1 pound of minced meat. Now, I'm using a plant protein minced meat here. You can use any minced meat of your choice. The one that I'm using is very low in fat. So this, along with the beans, are going to be the main source of protein for this meal. It's going to give you a ton of protein. Then we're going to have 3 cloves of garlic, which is going to help give the whole thing a lot of flavor. So we have more spices to go along with this. You can add any amount of spices that you want, just your taste preferences. So I'm using 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, and 1 teaspoon of paprika powder. So first step is to boil your potatoes. We're chopping them in half just to cut down on the boiling time a little bit. Throw it in a pan with water. Then while the potatoes are boiling, we're going to be chopping up our veggies, starting off with the onion, chopping it to fine cubes. And we're going to be throwing that on a pan with a little bit of water. And then we're going to be moving on to our garlic. You can use a garlic presser, but we didn't have that, so we just had to chop it, and it's a pain in the ass. But yeah, it's worth it for the flavor. So we threw that in with the onion and then moved on to chopping the carrots. Also fine cubes for this one, but you don't have to do it this way. It just cooks a lot faster. Then we throw that in with the garlic and onion, add a little bit more water so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. And then we move on to the red bell pepper, also into small cubes. This is going to give you a ton of vitamin C for this meal. And then when the veggies have started to soften, we're going to add all of our spices. This meal is all about the spicing, so make sure not to skip this step. Then we mix up the spices with the rest of the veggies, and then we throw in our minced meat along with our beans and sweet corn, and then mix again. Then we're going to be adding our chopped tomatoes. Depending on how runny you want this meal to be, you can add extra water. We added half a cup of water just because we want it a little bit more runny, but if you're afraid of your Tupperware leaking in your bag or something like that, you don't need to add any extra liquids. So by now the potatoes should be done cooking. So we're going to put everything into 3 different containers. Definitely one of my favorite meals. And remember, if you don't have access to a minced meat such as this one, you can also use textured vegetable protein or soy chunks or seitan or anything that you want. So the totals for the chili con carne comes comes to 850 calories with 125 grams of carbohydrates, 8 grams of fats, and 58 grams of protein. So this is a huge meal. You can divide this meal into two. So use 2 separate containers if you prefer 4 meals instead of 3 meals in a day. I definitely recommend this because not a lot of people can eat this big of a volume. But if you enjoy large meals, this is gonna be amazing. So the totals for this day was 2,000 calories with 190 grams of carbohydrates, 64 grams of fat, and 135 grams of protein. Remember that you can add as many snacks as you want to this meal plan. You can add fruits in between your meals. That's what I usually do. Some apples, kiwis, oranges, chopped veggies, or anything that you like. And if you need extra help with your fitness and nutrition regimen, you can always visit my website at johnvenus.com for awesome custom meal plans and workout plans with a ton of videos such as this included. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your support. Hope you're having an amazing day so far, and I hope to see you very soon. Peace out.